What's up guys, Eddie here, and today I want to talk about 7 skills/habits that have helped me transform my content creation and keynote speaking into a multi-million-dollar business. Those of you who've been following me either on the podcast or other channels, you know that this has certainly not been an overnight thing. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears over the years. But I'm fortunate in that I know more now than I did when I started out, right? And so this is a conversation younger me would have loved to have had. And ultimately, that's the value I want to share with you. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the insights that will help you better navigate whatever it is you're working through and ultimately earn more money doing it. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, number one for a reason, choose one thing. I think this is probably the most important thing I've done since I've started is dedicate myself to one skill set. I think those who can work to be the top 5, top 1% in a particular niche see opportunities presented to them that are astounding, right? So just to give you an example, for me, it's helping people through story, through spoken word. And so every day for almost a decade now, which just feels crazy to say, I would write and I would speak, and I would write and I would speak either into the camera or, that whiteboard back there, which I call my imaginary audience. It's just what I did. And it's impossible to suck at something that you do every day, right? When you do that and you build up the reputation as someone that adds value, someone who's good, someone who has credibility in a space, again, the opportunities just grow exponentially. So for a crash course on this idea, there's 2 books I'd recommend. The One Thing by Gary Keller, who beautifully demonstrates the value of laser-like focus on the things that are meaningful to you. And Deep Work by Cal Newport, who a little bit more tactically talks about the art of shutting off distractions, finding a quiet place, or your method for immersing yourself in the actual deep work that's going to matter and push you forward. So, number 1, choose one thing. Number 2 is self-care. And I'm gonna kind of bucket reading into this as well, because I think it all fits into the overall umbrella of creating an environment in which you can win, in which you feel excited, invigorated, you feel like you're growing personally, leveling up. I think it's very difficult to silo out success financially or in business when other aspects of your life feel like they're falling apart. It's very difficult. There's an old quote that says, "A rising tide lifts all boats." And I think it's the same here. I am at my best when I'm up in the morning. I'm a morning guy. I feel amazing when I do that. When I'm working out, when I'm eating healthy, when I'm taking walks and listening to audiobooks, right? Not only taking in info that I can apply directly to my work, but I feel like someone who's learning and growing personally. And there's something to that. When you can build a lifestyle of success, it bleeds out into your work and your business and your ability to create systems that generate income and add value to others. So that's number 2. Take care of yourself and make sure that you feel good personally and you're creating an environment in which you can succeed. Number 3, live a minimalist lifestyle. And I can't even begin to explain how valuable this was, right? Particularly starting out, first couple of years, things could get tight. As many of you know, starting a new business or venture, you don't always have tons of funds to throw around. And I can't even imagine how counterproductive and stressful it would have been to have to worry about, paying off luxury cars or all these expenses that, to help prop up this facade that I'd made it when I hadn't. It just would have been incredibly detrimental. Greg McCune, I speak about his book all the time, is one of the few total game changers in my life. Essentialism talks about the power of cutting away any variables and details in your life that don't directly align with where you need to go. And excess certainly falls into that category. Not only that, it allows you to take the funds you do have and apply, put back into your business, as well as you, again, as a person, so that you can develop and grow where you need to grow. You're the moneymaker. The business is the moneymaker. The excess is not. So living a minimalist lifestyle. Number 4, adding value to others. Now, you might think this is obvious or intuitive, and maybe it is, but it's also the very first thing we forget, right? We tend to make things about ourselves and our own wants and our own desires. We forget the name of the game. We forget that what we earn is directly proportional to the value we provide. And so that needs to be the focus. How can I add value to my audience, to my clients? Never heard anyone demonstrate this better than Donald Miller when he talks about Star Wars, right? He uses this metaphor. He says, everyone thinks they're Luke Skywalker. They want to be Luke Skywalker innately, right? But the audience should be Luke Skywalker. The audience is the star of the show with the lightsaber who defeats the bad guy. You are Master Yoda. You're the guide. You take Luke Skywalker by the hand and you help him destroy the Death Star and save the galaxy. And essentially, if this is the framework you have, where you're positioning yourself to constantly be adding value and helping people solve problems, you'll win. And your bank account will reflect that. And I get that it's frustrating because this is the part where you want tangible advice. You know, send X newsletter X days a week and your income will increase, right? Or use this type of lighting in this type of video, send this type of message. But that's all putting the cart before the horse. The question that's truly going to move the needle for you is, what type of value am I adding to my audience, and can I do it on a consistent basis? If you do that, only good things follow, right? Add value to your audience. Number 5 is invest in yourself and your business. Hands down, one of the most important things I've done was invest in a coach who completely changed the trajectory of my YouTube channel. Like if you look 3 years-ish back, you can see my watch time, my views, my revenue truly hockey stick up. A lot of that because of things I learned from him. He helped with just my business in totality, how I execute, how I see myself as a business owner. These things that, you know, paid for the initial price many times over, right? Now, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Depending on your situation, you could ask 10 people, you get 10 different opinions, right? But if we're looking at my path and the things that I think are most important, this is up there. You know, the ability to invest back into your business, because that's often where you get the greatest return. I had a pretty powerful conversation with someone a few years back who successful guy, you know, someone I trust and respect, and that saved a little bit of money. Told him I was thinking about putting it in an index fund or ETF. And he says that, you know, that's not a bad idea. Obviously, you know, index funds are amazing hands-off investment opportunities. Stock market gives you 10% return historically per year. But let me ask you this, Eddie. What's the return that could come from your business? Is it 10% per year? Or could it be 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x, right? You get the idea. It's like turning your business into a cash flow system or machine is one of the most powerful things you could do. And it's been taking that, investing it back, taking that, investing it back, and you get this snowball effect that obviously increases your income, but also simultaneously gives you more and better investment opportunities as you're moving forward. So to me, it's like, yes, there are a million things and none of them are wrong, right? But it was investing back into my business that was truly a game changer. Number 6 is surround yourself with a good circle. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is. Let's face it, we become who we spend the most time with. There's no doubt about that. And so the question we need to ask is, are we around people who, you know, aren't inspired, aren't pushing themselves, or just kind of, you know, lethargic about life, or people that are passionate about what they do, who push you to be better, people themselves chasing down more? It's truly an important question. And I like to tell a story about a conversation I had with my friend a few years back now, and a couple decades older than me, got a little bit of life experience, and he asked me, Eddie, what are your financial goals, right? And I've been thinking a little bit about him, so I told him, and I'll never forget kind of the pause, you know, and he just goes, why? I'm like, what do you mean why, right? That's a big number. I feel good about that. And he goes, you can do that in 6 months. Like, let's get some big goals out there for you. And that conversation alone sort of reframed my definition of what was real, right? It reshaped what I thought I was capable of doing. I've had a few conversations like that in my life. It's like people fall through on who they believe themselves to be. So you want people who are pushing you to be that next version, people who are reframing reality for you. It's a shortcut, it's a cheat code, right? You need to be around people who help you level up and reframe your definition of normalcy. If you can do that, it fast tracks your growth, right? An inspirational circle will pull you up that ladder faster than you can even imagine. Number 7 is adaptability. I believe it was Jeff Bezos who said, don't change the goal, change the approach. And that's been the name of the game. Learning and moving forward, learning and moving forward. Life's not a perfection game, it's an adjustment game. And whether that's increasing the amount of money that you're making, building your business, improving your relationships, it's that ability to adjust. My speaking business over the years has transformed tremendously, right? As I seek to hold on to my authenticity in my work and also what's adding value to the audience, right? Those two things need to be married and they change. So it's a consistent ability to not be stubborn with the approach, but be willing to adapt as you move forward to hit the targets that are important to you. So number 7, adaptability. And there we have it, 7 skills that were most impactful in helping me build a multi-million-dollar business. I hope there were some things you could take and plug directly into your world that will help you in your personal life, that will help you grow your business and ultimately make more money doing so. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything that was left out or if there's anything that's worked for you or you found valuable that you want to share with others. Let's start that conversation. Per usual, looking forward to seeing you next week.